Gia Graham here with Creative Interiors, and she's here to show us some home decorating tips.
Yes, and I originally thought I was going to bring a Roman shade, but our customer picked it up, so I couldn't bring it. And it had some really neat trim that we can do on Roman shades. But I found this for us, and this is a nice little valance that we can do, and it's got inverted pleats, and I wanted to show you what those look like, because that's where you can use the contrasting fabric is on your inverted pleat. And on this plaid, we also used it on your cording down here at the bottom. A lot of times you can do a decorative cording, but we just used the fabric in this. And what we did on this is we found the main pattern, the blue, and we centered it across the board. And we also have a big triple window. I couldn't bring that, obviously, but
that'd be too big.
Yeah, but we just centered the pattern in the fabric to the whole window size, and that's how we determined what this was going to look like.
So what type of fabrics are good for a project like this?
These are great fabrics because this is a nice cotton blend. You can use some of the upholstery weights. It just gets a little bit thicker. But the design is what you're looking for in this type of a treatment, because when you do this pattern, whether it's a floral or even those medallions, when you have the medallions, you can center those and then get them all across and then use a contrast in here to kind of accent it.
And do you want your contrast to be something, usually maybe like a loud pattern or something that you wouldn't want the whole, valance to be, correct?
Right. And that's really a personal preference. As we've learned over the time here, I like contrast, so I like it to be red and white or blue and green. I like that. But there's a lot of people that when you walk in a room, you just want it to flow. So you want it to be a dark blue and a light blue. You just want it to kind of blend in with the room. So it just depends on your personal preference.
For someone like me who isn't very good at decorating at home, what are some tips to pick out patterns and things like that? What are some good, I guess, for the eye, to look for?
The first thing I start with is your color. Always do your favorite color because you never get tired of it. Whether it's like your clothes. It's the same thing. When you wear something all the time, it's because you like it. It's the same thing in your home. If you do green, like my favorite color, I have a lot of green. I don't get tired of it, and it'll last for 5 or 10 years.
And for some people who like to change things up a lot, what are some good tips to keep it simple for them?
The things that are not expensive is to put your fabric into not your upholstery chairs. Do things that you can change often, like they always say, your pillows, and even some of your window treatments you can do solids and just simple treatments so they're not very costly. And then you can play up on the big bold patterns in other areas.
I know you were talking about the cording on the bottom of this earlier that matches the contrasting background. Could you do something other than the cording? Maybe add tassels or something to the bottom of that?
Oh yeah. We get kind of creative depending on the person. So the other thing that we do is, instead of doing just this small little cording here, you can do that big tassel-y fringe with the beads on it, because then it's got 3 or 4 different colors in the beads and the tassels. And then it goes all the way around down here, and then it goes all on the inverted pleat. And that's really cool.
So if somebody wanted to add one of these to their windows, what would they need to come to you with? Say the measurements, or do y'all handle that as well?
Both. You can bring your measurements in and then we can go from there on it. But we can also come out to your home if we need to help. This one is nice because it doesn't have a little return. So this one's kind of like the sink, over your sink, there's cabinets. So this one doesn't have a return. It's going to slide just right up there.
So where would you want to position this on your window? Would it cover the whole window all the way to the side, like you said that you had the 3 wall? Would it go straight up to the corners of that, or could it kind of float maybe on a standing window?
It could be either or. My length, the biggest thing is I normally do an 18-inch length. So then once you get this, you can decide if you want to raise it up 3 or 4 inches depending on the proportion of your room. So you may want it to sit flush on the frame, or you may want to go up 5 or 6 inches so you can see out more. It kind of depends on the use in the room.
And how would you install this onto your window?
We have L brackets, just regular little L brackets.
Okay, and would you take this off and wash it? Because if it sits up there, it gets dust on it. I know a lot of times people like to vacuum those off. How would you take care of that?
Yeah, we just dust them because they're all stapled on the board. So we just kind of dust them instead of, drapes you kind of take off and take to the cleaners.
And what trends are hot for this season as far as window treatments go?
I think it's more about the fabric than it is a style of window treatment. So I think it's more about your color and how bold you want to get.
All right, well, that's very pretty.
It is. Thank you so much, Gina, for joining us, and I guess we'll see you next time. And